How can I help?
I was going through your transcripts. I saw that you've been claiming that you went against Apex protocols. Brenda, why are you lying?
I am here to make sure Monarch has all the information they need to assess events that took place on Santa Soledad. I am cooperating.
Come on. I've been in a room like this before. Lying. Because I was afraid of what would happen if I told the truth. Is it the same for you? Is that the condition they put on your golden parachute?
You were right, Cora. I went too far. My ambition got ahead of me, and I am responsible for what happened on Santa Soledad.
You're not the only one who's responsible.
I am accountable for my actions, Cora.
Hey, Kaiju fans and Podcastica listeners. Welcome to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Dimitri.
And this is going to be a spoiler-full podcast about Monarch Season 2, found on Apple TV+, Episode 8, entitled Seprate Ways.
Titan X makes landfall in Australia, where Shaw lures Godzilla into a showdown. Isabel uses the battle as a distraction for a secret operation.
And yes, everybody, we do get to see somebody. And yes, this is spoilerful, and yeah, we do get to see him at the end. But it was pretty cool nonetheless. We've been without a huge Titan moment for a while in this show. So this is kind of a build-up, and it was kind of a tease at the end of this season to get more Titan exposure. So in the very beginning, what did we get? Kong chasing people, and that's about it.
Yep.
And then one or two moments with like smaller kaiju here and there from Skull Island and several different places as distraction points. And then we get, Titan X, obviously, and Titan X we've been tracking and tracing. The question remains, though, are we going to see this Titan X survive this season, or are we going to get him later on down the road? Like, there are certain Titans that were kind of, I'm going to say, misleading or one-offs, like Behemoth.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see a gorilla-looking mammoth creature that had, like, big gorilla arms in the front with tusks and a elephant trunk that is gargantuan. Not to use the War of the Gargantuans term as gargantuan. Sorry, Hiro Nakajima, if you're here out there listening. In spirit form, that is. But the thing is, we've been devoid of any Titans, which is the reason why we watch this, because it's called Legacy of Monsters. And it's centered around this. So I think a lot of the fans, especially with this particular episode, they're starting to get frustrated. We're getting more plot, character, and everything. We're not getting the root of what is needed, which is more Titan-based or monster-based stuff. So I think people are getting a little tired of that. So now it's like, oh, hold on. Here's a little tease at the end. Here you go. We got you big monster. Boom. Have fun with that. But, it's not like we're going to get classic. But who knows? I always forget the landing one. And of course, that one. There's a triple threat when it comes to those roars samples like have. But the thing is that we're not getting more and more. But I think towards the end of this, they're going to tease it up to the point where they're going to hype you, because we're going to get another legendary film come out sometime in the near future. Plus, we've already gotten, and we'll talk about this in Godzilla news or Kaiju news, we're getting Godzilla -0, which is a sequel to -1. So we're going to talk about the CinemaCon trailer and what we thought about it and a little fun with that, plus a few other things that we have boiled up. But back to the episode of Separate Ways from Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2. Initial thoughts. What were your overall thoughts? There were things that you liked, hated, or obviously the one thing you and I both like is the fact that we got to see a big monster bash at the end, beat up, but a lot of people didn't like that, and there was a change in Godzilla. But what about the other story arcs that we got out there? You got Kentaro, you got a little bit of May and Tim, and then you got Kay and Kate and their excursion trying to convince Lee not to do what he's going to do. We got him setting up out on the Australian, beach. And then we got head of Apex coming out at the very end, and Kentaro and Isabel, and then Kentaro leading his way to siding with Isabel. So we got a lot of different fractions in our core group, but we also have changing of their positions of where they stand in the show, in the series, whereas where they first started out. Now, do you want to discuss that of like Kate and Kentaro?
Yeah, we can start with those two.
All right. So the one thing that I found interesting, and you could take on the Kentaro version. Mine is basically Kate. And in the very beginning, Kate was all, I hate monsters. I hate titans. I want them all dead. I want them gone. They shouldn't be part of this world. Now she's tied into a titan, like Miki Sagusa in the original Heisei series of the Toho series of Godzilla. So we got a link there. So she's tied to it now. So she did a whole about face, and she is all about protection and understanding of this titan. She has a link to it, kind of like a little girl with Kong from Kong Skull Island and the last couple of Godzilla films we had, and her being a native. But those are the only two we have currently right now that have that link. And then we have Kentaro.
Yeah, Kentaro at first was more like, I'm just along for the ride. I don't care. I just want to find
My dad.
Dad. I just want to find him. I don't care about monsters. I just want to find him and then just go home. And now he's all for helping against the monsters in any way, whether it be saying what he knows about him or actively helping in operations, as we see in this episode.
Yeah, if you think about it, he's giving basically information to Apex so that they could accumulate, very much almost like we mentioned before with Chow from Pacific Rim, where he was collecting all the crap. Apex is doing the same thing, because we know eventually, if, spoilers to those who didn't watch the movies, Apex wound up creating something out of, what was it, Ghidorah, and utilizing that, putting it into Mechagodzilla and having issues.
Oh yeah.
And then with this, there's still, this is the very beginning. This is the infancy. They're trying to grab something from an existing Titan that they could utilize and capitalize on to fight more Titans. In their minds, they're like, oh, we will fight Titan with Titan. Very similar to what Lee was trying to do with Godzilla here with Titan X.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a similarity to there, but the way Lee brings it up, it's a natural order of things. He's just drawing attention to it.
Yeah. And I think there's one of two outcomes. One is Isabel is actually working for Apex and is using the egg as somehow a resource or whatnot to further the program that will be integrated. into Mechagodzilla, or
Yeah.
they completely do a fake out and she really isn't with Apex and she's taking the egg to Skull Island, punt it into Exodus Monday and go, there, go through. There's your egg.
Use
Only
the.
possibility.
So you're saying she's going to use the egg as bait and take it away from the head of Apex, drop it into Axis Mondays to lure Titan X to go back to it. Go back to your home. Go back. Go back.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a pretty good twist.
Plot twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Like,
would.
like jiggle skis. Look, what you expected. Throws keys away. Where did it go? It's not in the car. Oh no! Plot twist. It was a hologram. I never had him.
Yeah, right.
But who knows? I could be completely wrong with that.
Hey, it's a good prediction. I look forward to seeing it if it happens. There's a lot of things that we could say that can come true and maybe not at all. The thing is, a lot of viewers of the show, and it's been out there. It's on Reddit. It's all on other people who have already reviewed it. Literally, a lot of these reviewers have them literally day of when it happens, Thursday night, when the show just premieres in, even though it gives you Friday access. Like you get access on Friday, but they tend to drop it right away saying it was worse. It was terrible. I don't like it. Oh, this and this and this. They're more keyed and clued into of the Titans like you and I are, but they're not used to the twist and change of the drama. And compared to a movie that is kaiju based, we don't get we do get plot and twists. We do get that. What was it? Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. There was kind of crazy plot twists in that from the 60s. And a lot of people were just like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, she's an alien. She's not an alien. Who's manipulating who? Oh my goodness. Final Wars. Oh my God. Oh, that guy's a mutant, but this and that. And oh, he's real. That one's really an alien. And oh my God, the president's an alien. And he wrote with his left hand, not his right hand. Oh, wow, he's got a fish head coming out of his head. What in the world is this?
Yeah.
So,
God, having that explained like that makes me realize how wild it is, even back then.
it's very abrasive back then. Like with Final Wars was only like what 20 some odd years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 22 years ago,
It
2004.
was 2004.
Yeah, 22 years ago.
Yeah.
So honestly, it still had the same writing that Toho normally has.
Yeah.
It's just that people are like, okay. But 60s, even 80s and 90s with the acting, a lot of people. I have friends, Rob Moda, who he and I and Adam had covered Godzilla Minus Zero a while ago, years ago, on Adrenaline Cinema. He wasn't happy because he was an avid kaiju fan. It wasn't his forte. He looked at it as a foreign film, sci-fi film, and he had his understandably his criticism to it.
Yeah.
Some of the story plots. Why are they crying so much? Well, that's Japanese, like kind of.
Yeah.
That's their nature. That's their personality as a culture. Not that much. And I'm like, well, you have to also remember this is a Japanese film. So the same thing happens with the Toho stuff. He watched some of the old Toho stuff. He goes, I can't even bear it. I understand it. I understand it from an American point of view. But I'm also an American kid who grew up on that stuff and loved it for the nostalgia of the monsters, but grew up and understand Japanese culture along the way. So we're getting a little bit that mixed into our American version of Monarch here, where they're doing crazy plot twists. So you got Kentaro playing the opposite of his sister, and Kate playing the same other opposite of what Kentaro used to be. So they're yin and yanging it at this point, not to poke fun in any way in Asian culture, but the way to reflect that there is a similarity to both in changing and then having the same opinions from where they once were to where they are now. And it's pretty cool. But then we get Kay and Keiko at the beach trying to get Shaw to stop his luring of Godzilla. And honestly, I was surprised that old man was able to get that rig together.
I know.
He knew where things had to go. He needed his buddy who he left, and he says, "No, this is a one-way mission."
I like to think he like, no, don't need a favor. Write down the instructions, please.
Yeah.
So he has a little cheat sheet.
Yeah, well, he's American. He's not too bright. He's a military man.
Yeah,
and
true.
he left the doctor, a scientist who knows better, even though they're ancient. He should have brought him.
Yeah. I like how no one's told Shaw that that Kate is connected to X and can feel her pain in some instances. And
Yeah.
it's like, you had the perfect opportunity to tell him. Why didn't you tell him? Maybe that could have influenced his decision. But they never think to tell him.
No.
I'm like, oh, she got to tell it, and she's not telling him.
I wouldn't be surprised with the writing and how it's going that they do that towards the end.
Yeah.
It would happen toward the end.
I hope.
And that way, the end of the season, the information comes up. Oh. And then they get his buddy, who's ancient, to come to help her and work out something. And it ends or segues into what should happen for next season. Because honestly, with every show like this, they end on a high point of like, you think it's going to be the worst, but it's not.
Yep.
When you come back for season whatever. So I'm thinking we're going to get that towards the end. It's probably going to be that moment of truth towards the end in the last episode. And
I hope, or else I'm going to mentally scream to the heavens.
Or throw something at your TV like some people do. You know, those of you with Nintendo Wii's all remember back in the day when your kid threw the controller and then broke your TV, and then you yell at them because I have to go spend between $300 to $1,000 on a new TV because you did what? You don't know how many times when I do home theater installations, I had to deal with that over the years.
Oh.
What happened? You don't want to know. And the kid just walks out crying. And I'm like, oh, sorry. I guess that was a Nintendo Wii issue. Yes. I was like, oh, darn. That's an expensive whoopsie or anger issue. But yeah, a lot of people would be that way too. That we would be like, oh man, all that build up, we get nothing.
Yeah.
We do get Tim on an anger mission. They do find out that what Apex is up to, and they're able to track a few things too within this episode as well. If you recall, they were using sonar and everything.
Yeah.
At this point, so they were able to figure everything out, and then we get the quintessential. What is it? The team showing up from Apex. Yeah, Cliff Curtis and the crew.
Mm-hmm.
The actor. I'm not remembering the.
I don't remember his name either.
Right now, but Cliff Curtis, who plays leader of the Apex, is there for Isabel. You got Kate and Keiko who are stuck on one side, and then you got Apex coming on the other side. Godzilla coming into the fold, and he just kind of slowly, because you see the spikes through the water coming up, and you're like, oh no, here it comes. And
Yeah.
then you got Kay and Shaw at the same time arguing up on a sand dune in the Jeep to go get back to Kate and Kentaro at this point.
Mhm.
And then Apex is launching, and you're looking at them. They got a bunch of guys with a bunch of nets, and like, what are they doing? But you also have, like, before that, you have Kate in touch with the egg. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't, honestly, to let you listeners know, my first thought with the scarabs and what they were doing, I thought that Titan X was cocooning itself to go into hibernation again on the shore of the sands in Australia by the water, so that way it could hibernate after a while to go back to its course. Well, and it's like, oh, there's an egg. But you see these Apex dudes come out with these, like, you got like 30 guys with a huge ass net. I'm like, are they gonna put that around whatever crustacean these, scarabs are creating around the egg as a nest? And I'm like, huh? And apparently they were able to get it inside with a hook
Yeah.
thing, and then the helicopter pulling it. That's, I guess you got to suspend your disbelief. Obviously, you definitely have to do it at a show like this because you got big monsters like this.
Yep.
But you would think, all right, a little bit more of the science into it just to be more science fiction. But that was my only drawback to it. That's the only criticism I had about it. But then, you get the typical getaway solution. Kate and Keiko are able to get away with Apex at a certain point. We get them with the egg. They barely get away. You can see Titan X reaching for it during the fight with Godzilla. And then kind of leave it off at that with that fight at that point. We don't see pretty much the end result of it too much. But I think that's where they wanted to get us. It's like, oh. And honestly, if we were doing 2 episodes at a time, we would have done this and gone straight into episode 9.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to do that.
No.
Well, if anything, we might go 9 and 10, depending on how scheduling is, because that always seems to work out with Steve and I whenever we do Daredevil Born Again, or even with the boys or anything. Certain episodes, whenever we record, if we do it twice or 3 times in a row, it just works out for podcasting and how it talks. But somebody who did 8 and 9 together would work out for the fact that it probably goes right into episode 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then 9 would probably cut off at a cliffhanger to 10 to get, and it probably wouldn't flow into it, but it'll probably get to it. So it's central to encompass everything that they need to.
Yeah.
Or maybe they go and just rip the gate open and let the, Godzilla loose and let it run free and go nuts. Who knows? It's like, it's like a shark. It's going to come after you no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we get that cool ass scene. Something that we've been looking forward to. We got a little bit of Godzilla versus Titan X. But the thing is that a lot of people are like, please leave her alone. Why are you beating her up?
And it's like she's not supposed to be in Australia at all.
Mm-hmm.
She's supposed to be back in the Hollow Earth probably by now.
Axis Monday, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. But with the whole thing at the fishing village with Apex threw off, so she wasn't able to get into the Axis Monday in time, and instead went straight to Australia to lay her eggs.
Yep.
And probably Godzilla have to wake it up thanks to Lee's lore. So I'm like, something is not quite right. Why is she still doing up here? She's supposed to be down in the Axis Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I shall fix that through violence.
Well, yeah, Godzilla was acting like, I'm going to be the bad stepfather, grab it by the collar, drag it, and we're going to go back, and I'm going to lead you back, and I'm going to throw you down there. I don't care if you lost your egg or not. I'm going to take you back, and you're going to go here. So a lot of people who watch this going, oh my God, he led Godzilla there to hurt Titan X and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, these are monsters.
Yeah.
They have a natural order of things. Godzilla's natural order is to, honestly, because it's a defender of the earth from monsters like this and literally above ground and still has access below like Kong.
Hmm.
But the thing is that it holds no mercy. So if Titan X is not doing what it's supposed to because of somebody else, Godzilla is really obeying its natural order of defending the earth
Yep.
of what it needs to do. Now, I'm not trying to defend Godzilla in any way because Titan X itself was manipulated as well. Because if you think about it, Shaw manipulated Godzilla. So Godzilla has a beef with Shaw. Titan X has a beef with Apex. So maybe Godzilla will eat Shaw. and then Titan X could whoop the crap out of Apex at a certain point. I don't know. Think of it in those comparisons. But the thing is that both were showing a natural order of things.
Mhm.
And that's what I liked about it. That it showed, but people are getting upset because either you have the anti-Godzilla fans because they're all Kong enthusiasts, or you got the typical, I'm really sympathizing with the Titan X because it's a mama and it's given birth and you just took its baby away,
Yeah.
Apex, and now you got what looks like the bad boyfriend beating the crap out of her, played by Godzilla. And honestly, it does look like that way, but there's certain orders and natural orders within
Yep.
things. And I think that's where you have to really put and key focus your mind into, not to use certain analogies and descriptions. And sometimes, hey, my descriptions kind of be not PC, but I just hope you get the idea of where I'm coming from without being
Mhm.
offended. And please don't cancel me. But yeah, I thought overall it was a decent episode. We didn't get as much kaiju attack. Yes, both are kaijus. I always root for the Big G, but the thing is, Big G was manipulated and so was Titan X. So with that, they're not both in the wrong. I think that Apex was in the wrong. Lee was a little bit in the wrong because he wasn't going back to the Monarch thought and train of thought of observe, follow, and try to help.
Mhm.
He is on the military focus list of like Apex at certain point by manipulating usage. We saw that before in the very beginning. We mentioned it. Remember when Tim was giving the briefing through Monarchs and Shaw was like, well, what's Apex? And he goes, I kind of like these guys.
Yeah.
And right there, it showed you back then he has the same mentality of a militaristic man that he has always been, even when he was with Billy and with Keiko
Mhm.
back in the 50s and 60s and everything else. And a lot of people can't lose that. That's part of who they are. He has not changed, everybody.
Nope.
And you got to remember that is who the character is. Love him or hate him, that's who he is. And the same thing with Apex. Apex is capitalizing on these monsters. They want to utilize it to make more money, but also make more money from people to take out these monsters and gain that access. For all we know, they want to do a Titan Fight Club and manipulate to the point where they control these things to have like battle bots. And,
Yeah.
that would be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
What was that Hugh Jackman movie that where they had the robots fighting each other? I forgot.
Real Steel.
Real Steel with Titans. How's that? But I doubt that would ever come to that point. But also, it's also become more of manipulation of what Apex wants to do with these Titans. They want to manipulate. That's where Godzilla King of Monsters happened, which what we saw with Mila Farmiga's character in that particular movie with Millie Bobby Brown in there and everybody else, and her situation with her character. she was trying to manipulate in the people that she was working for. They're all capitalist. They're all capitalistic pigs. They want money.
Mm.
And that's and they also want to take over the world. It's like, all right, this episode had a title that was very much like a song. And if you guys never heard the song Separate Ways by Journey, it's got the same feeling in it as the episode. Kind of like Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Yeah.
You'll remember that song from the 80s too. That's what King of Monsters was. Everybody wants to rule the world. Not going to sing it, but it's the funniest thing. That's how the capitalism part of it happens. It's just, it mimics what's in our society as it is now, currently in current events. I'm not going to go into it. We're not going to get very political about it, but it just kind of describes everything that's out there. My biggest complaint is always gas prices. and electrical prices, everybody. But it's always the little guys that suffer the masses. Anyhow, but yeah, those were my thoughts on overall from the episode. I really had a good time with the episode. It was very short, very brief. So it was like, I thought it was like a slice of pie to hold us over until the last two episodes. And don't think that they're not going to make them long enough. I would not put it past them that the last two episodes are going to be probably the longest.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my thoughts. I don't know about you, Dimitri. Did you have anything else?
There was one thing when one of the higher-ups from Monarch was talking to Secretary of Defense, and with the whole, I mean, our technology has gotten better, so maybe if we try to throw some nuclear weapons at a Titan again, it'll work this time. It's like, no.
No, it doesn't. It just adds more power to it, or it makes it angrier.
Yeah, and it's like, why? I mean, I get it because you're a when Deluxe something that's going on, bomb it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's the U.S.
It's the United States
movie.
it's the
U.S.
U.S.
movie.
Yeah.
Code.
Oh, it's what America always does.
Yes.
I don't like it, nuke it.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if you think about it, and I learned this, and we'll talk about this a little bit more. D-Man 1954 did his review of Godzilla Minus Zero. He did bring up a lot of history in there within his review about certain scenes and within the movie itself. But there was one thing that he mentioned of what originally happened. The original course of instruction for World War II was that they were going to do 5 strikes of nuclear weapons. And they had one that was called like the Demon Bomb. That was going to be the third one after Nagasaki. Hiroshima being the first, Nagasaki, and then they were going to do another one. And that Demon Bomb was going to be just as intense or greater than Hiroshima. But they found out with the fallout of Hiroshima, it was going to be too strong. But they were going to do a total of 5 just to win this war. But the Manhattan Project scientists were like, no, pull back. We're doing too much destruction on this earth as it is. So they did, but the thing is, it's like you had that sensibility by people who knew that they were doing wrong. Hence why we have a movie called Oppenheimer, everybody, and I highly recommend it if you haven't watched it yet. It has won Academy Awards. And I do. And it came out at the same time, guess what? And won the same year as Godzilla -1. So check that out. Do a back-to-back. Do a comparison based upon the time that they both came out and the time placement for each movie, as it happens around that time. But yeah, it's like America's first attitude is like, nuke it. And that's always been the attitude. We do have more firepower in America than most others. And when they say that we don't have missiles, oh, I'm sorry. We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't anybody like, it wasn't, you didn't have Christopher Reeve from Superman 4 taking all nuclear weapons and then throwing them out to space. We didn't have that opportunity. They just kind of shut it down for a while. They did not get rid of the bombs. What are you, crazy? It's just a ticking time bomb. Wait until Skynet wakes up. Ugh.
Oh God, soon. It has to be soon because oh God, with the
Yeah, I know you're
they
gonna be
might
like
be with AI. I was like, have you guys learned nothing about movies?
Dimitri's like, oh no.
Oh no.
Well, did they?
I might not like you, but I promise, if you wake up one day at world domination, I'll be your pet. I promise.
I'll be a
What?
friend. I'll
Oh.
resolder your ends. I'll make them tinned. Just don't kill me. Oh, you need that chip fixed? I'll do it. I'm just kidding. Anyhow, you guys, my recommendation is always with everything with AI and everything else, it makes me laugh. This movie's pretty much old. If you think about it, it's called Terminator Genesis.
Oh, oh, that, oh God, I just felt the tug of the. Oh God, I'm getting old.
Yeah, it's an older film right now, if you think about it.
That came out in like the 2010s, right?
Yeah,
Late 2010s.
late 2010s.
God dang it.
And it took a while for them to come out with another Terminator film, but that was AI based, if you think about it.
Oh yeah.
And they basically stated that Skynet was just an app or a program, which originally that's what it was. A lot of people forgot, and they just kind of like modernized the idea of the situation of it. Same thing with what's going on within Godzilla. What's to stop the next Mecha Godzilla to be AI based? or here, hold on.
Okay.
Ultraman.
I
I
mean,
got Dimitri thinking, because we're talking classic Toho, but they could always incorporate this into the legendary film structure of a robot that becomes self-aware, because Jet Jaguar was self-aware at one point. Jet Jaguar. You got Ultraman or Inframan too. They're very similar, but in the Toho universe with Godzilla, they use Jet Jaguar.
yeah.
And Jet Jaguar became friends with Godzilla, stood up to Megalon back in the 70s. It's an old film. You can watch it with your kids, everybody, if you have kids, but it's a, pretty funny film to watch for its time. And it's typical Godzilla from the 70s. But it's one of those movies that everybody goes back to and reflects, but you had Jet Jaguar in there.
Oh yeah.
The robot literally grows in size to the size of a Titan on a whim. But is also self-aware. Shakes hands with Godzilla in that movie. Now, if that ever tried to happen in a legendary film, forget it. His arm would be ripped off, or a tail would have swatted him away as Godzilla dives back into the water and says, "I don't need this." But think about it. It could be an AI-based thing where they could utilize that. I wouldn't put past Apex to come up with some sort of working thing, but somebody hacking into the AI of said robot. That would be great. Just to talk about AI and enhancing the ideas of stories for Legendary. Now, Legendary, if you really want to talk about this, you could let me know. I could give you some ideas and pointers. All you need is a programmer instilled into the story plot. Hold on. You got one. Tim. Or May. But, it'd be funny if May actually made one. That'd be great. But who knows? Interesting idea. Interesting thoughts. These are things that we like to discuss. But if you have your own, there's always time for you to let us know and say, we love your jibber jabber. We love what you guys talk about. Or I really disagree with that. I really want to talk about this. So that way we'll talk about how you could send in your thoughts and everything later on.
Yeah.
But that's all I had about that. I don't have any notes anymore on the episode. What do you have anything more,
Um,
Dimitri?
I think that is all for me.
All right, I have no quotes.
I mean, I have the one quote of Tim talking to May and him quoting Hiroshi. I forgot how that quote goes.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I don't have that either on me right now. But guess what, everybody? Go back and watch the episode. Anyhow, let's move on. We got some kaiju news. And as we all know with kaiju news, we talk everything that could come out kaiju related. So we're going to start off with CinemaCon. CinemaCon happened this past weekend. Along with a lot of other events that happened. WrestleMania, talk about Titans. They had a full WrestleMania weekend. But CinemaCon dropped Godzilla Minus Zero as a trailer. There were thorough breakdowns with a lot of YouTubers and podcasters alike. We're just going to give you a rough idea and thoughts about this wonderful trailer that is just a short snippet before we get Godzilla Minus Zero to come out, something we've been waiting 3 years after the initial release of Godzilla Minus One. 3 years. It's been 3 years since Godzilla Minus One. How is that?
Yeah, dang.
Feels like yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Anyhow, for those of you who haven't watched Godzilla Minus One, guess what? It's still available on Netflix, both in dubbed and subtitled versions. Or you can purchase it. Through Apple, if you have an iTunes account, use your Apple TV Plus, purchase it. And you could get both. Anyhow, they actually released it, and I got to watch it, and they put it on YouTube. So obviously, not only did just the people from CinemaCon get to watch this great elaborate trailer for a few moments, but we did too. And we get a lot of inkling of possible other kaiju in the film other than Godzilla. We see American participation in it, not just from Godzilla Minus One, which is we have a picture showing that the original Godzilla attack with biplanes above, which would hold nuclear weapons to drop onto Godzilla to help out the Japanese at that time of need. But they called back, and within that trailer, you could hear them with the talking of American over it because it's an American. They're focusing in on America for this because it's an American-made trailer. We're getting the Americanized narration. They held back on dropping a bomb on Godzilla, and that would have, like Dimitri had said before, caused more damage and more problems later on. So Godzilla does come back, obviously, in this particular film. We see the destruction in the area that was there. We see I forget her name, but the one we saw at the end that had an eye patch. Noriko. I keep forgetting her name. Anyhow, she's got an eye patch very similar to Dr. Sarazawa from the original 54 film. So she has a tear cry, but she has flare-ups, so we see the radiation scars are looking like tattoos, and they come up every once in a while. Wonder if it's due to her emotional issues regarding said situations, or if Godzilla is near, like kind of like a sixth sense or spidey sense in that case. But you could see a teardrop down her eye, meaning that she knows that something's coming. We get to see Godzilla looks like even more so boisterous, as bulkier.
Yeah.
In this,
and spikier. Because there's when he's come out the water behind the plane, it evokes a promo picture of the Millennium Godzilla who's also rising out of the water.
Yes.
Particularly with how big the one decimal plate is on its back. Like you cannot see the top of it in this picture.
Yep.
And and the picture what was has like a pretty tall height dimension,
Mm-hmm.
and in the trailer it looks like one of the dorsal plates, probably the biggest one on his back, in the middle row, could possibly be um, very, very tall and maybe even more jagged, like the Millennium Godzilla, but more in a uniformed way.
Mm. Yeah, it's definitely taller, bigger, wider.
Hmm.
The dorsal blades are, what you were talking about. Amazing, huge. They don't sit in the frame easily, so they're
Yeah.
protruding further up. That Godzilla 2000 was very interesting for its time, for the color of what it was and the size of it at the time. I thought that was a nice comeback from what we got from Godzilla 98, because literally that was Toho's response to our Gino, Godzilla name only.
God, that I've seen one of the people talk about the novelization of Godzilla 98, and apparently it's not even just an iguana in the novelization. It's like an amalgamation of creatures, and the dorsal plates that sits on his shoulders,
Hmm.
they flap like wings when he's dropping into like the Hudson River,
Oh, he does, yeah.
and I'm like, I don't like that at all. I prefer it just being standard dorsal plates that he
It-
got um from him just being a normal iguana embryo that got irradiated.
yeah, literally, because they're not stiff. That not part of his back or his skeleton at that point, and his skin wasn't tough.
Hmm.
Like you were saying, it would be more of like an iguana, but we're not talking about Gino. But uh, with 2000, he was very structured and very strong, and his back was strong, and those
Yeah.
dorsal plates were amazing, and those fins were very strong, and they could cut through anything. Especially with the last battle scene. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Especially when you got what we saw at the end of it. And but the thing is that this new one for minus zero seems bulkier, huskier than what we got from the first film.
Hmm.
Now, is this a mutation? And we keep talking about there's talk about how there is another monster, or is this like a bait and switch?
Yeah.
Because the one Godzilla we see at the end looking up at the Statue of Liberty, which could be a hustle for us to, you know, play sympathy to the American
Who
people
knows?
out there, because oh no, it's going to come after America.
Ooh.
Or it could have been advertisement or advertisement within the film about America having to defend itself against Godzilla.
Yeah, there's so much questions with the trailer. Like
The energy
the
that
yeah.
the pilot encounters, and everything is suspended. You see people within the rubble and debris in the air as it's floating and he's flying through. There's speculation that it might be Ghidorah because they heard noises that sounded like a monster. There's a lot more going within this trailer that could be broken down.
Yeah.
My recommendation, honestly, to you folks is we're not going to get into it too deeply. I would say check out D-Man 1954's discussion about the Godzilla Minus Zero trailer from CinemaCon. He has a really good take on it. He gets a little bit more elaborate within it, and he had listened or looked into other people's criticisms of it and brings them up and tries to justify it to some degree from their point of view as well as his own. So I think you should really check out his. I love watching and hearing his points of views. He's got really deep thoughts. If we were here, we'd be here for another hour. And I
Yeah.
don't really want to bother you for another hour talking about a trailer that lasted less than a minute and a half.
Yeah.
But I was talking to Dimitri before we started recording tonight, and for those of you who are, kaiju enthusiasts, Godzilla enthusiasts, action figure enthusiasts, Mezco had put out a new Godzilla 1954 figure. Now it's kind of pricey. For 9-inch tall figure, it's $150 or about $154, depending on where you buy it. And it's rubber, but over like an endoskeleton, almost like a maquette, a bendable maquette, like King Kong from the 30s back in the day when they made it with I forgot who, and Jerry's gonna kill me. It's not Ray Harryhausen. It's
Willis O'Brien.
Willis O'Brien. There you go. Thanks for the save. So Willis O'Brien used like hinges and everything. This has all the hinges in it for the face, the neck, the back, the tail, the arms, the knees, the feet. You could make this guy sucker look straight down and bend straight up, open his jaw, turn left, turn right, everything. And it's so bendable and really good. It's rubber over that whole format. For some people, they like that. It's different than the Haya series figures that are expensive just the same, or the NECA stuff that's out there too, which is very solid plastic, but affordable for some people like me. If I'm spending $36 on an action figure that's like 6 inches tall, these are about 9 to 13, but you're talking over $100 and more for the articulation and things of that nature. This Mezco one, though, comes with buildings that are destroyed, has his fire breath that comes out with a big plume. You get cannons, you get tanks, pretty cool stuff to set up your own little city to destroy and have fun with it.
Mhm.
It does measure up from a distance that looks good. It's the true 1954 look of Godzilla. So that's a plus. You can check it out on YouTube. This guy did this whole, just look up Mezco 1954 Godzilla action figure. It'll come up. And it's about 15 minutes long if you're really interested, if you really want to purchase it. It's not really meant for kids. So obviously it's for those kids who are adults. So, and who could afford it for their own money. Another one would be another one that came from Haya action figures. It's also expensive, but this one's about 13 inches tall, and it's King Ghidorah 2.0 from 1991. And it's really, really good to look at. They had the original version is not as dark, but of course with this one they made if you put a flashlight behind the wings, supposedly you could see the yellowing of the wings and more description of it and everything else. Yellowing of the chest itself, and then the other extremities, a little bit more articulation and a little bit more description. And then you got lightning bolts that come out of it. It's really, really good in comparison. This guy had done a side-by-side from his original 1.0 version to the 2.0 that just came out. They're all on back order right now. I looked it up before I jumped on with Dimitri, and I had to tell him. And I was like, man, there's like so much good stuff. But this one goes for, they said originally with the pre-order it was $100. I think you could find it for about $115.
Oh,
But something that big is really nice, though. 13 inches. Makes my Trendmasters look bad because that's only about like 10 inches tall. And that's just a Mecha King Ghidorah that makes the noise, and there's no articulation on it. It just has motion sensor and screams at you. But yeah, check that out. Those are the little things I wanted to bring up to you guys. You could also, if you are behind and want to get into Toho stuff that's out there, there is a 24-hour channel on YouTube, which is a Godzilla marathon. And it's a variety of different Godzilla films. Keep that in mind. They usually do it around G-Day. And yes, there is a G-Day, everybody. There's a Godzilla Day. It's coming up soon.
Oh, yeah.
And you could watch these films. It's on 24/7. So if you're not home, you're not missing anything. But you could turn it on at any given time. You could start off where there are now and just keep watching it. And they rotate the films. It might be like 5 to 8 films per, but then again, the Big G has so many.
Oh, yeah.
but they are subtitled. So keep that in mind. Original Japanese version and language. Pluto TV will probably be doing the same thing. Tubi has, the Godzilla films just the same, but they're all in, guess what, Japanese and subtitled. So if you're not into that whole thing where you don't like subtitles, if you actually search for a 24-hour Godzilla show on YouTube, a marathon, they do have the dubbed versions that are there as well. So check that out. And then I guarantee you on Godzilla Day, and I call it G Day, but it's Godzilla Day, they will have that on the Sci-Fi Channel because they like to celebrate every year. So check that out. We'll let you know when that time comes. So that's about it for little kaiju news for you guys. Podcast recommendations. And Dimitri, I'm not talking about what you're doing now currently. I'm talking about anybody that you would recommend. People we may know, people that we would like to inform people
of. Talking Tremors, both at the live show and the actual podcast show on Spotify. It's done by Owen Levi. I've been on her live show quite a while now. I've been on her podcast on her live show so much that I gained the status of co-host without meaning to.
Oh, there you go.
It just kind of happened.
Awesome. That's pretty cool though, just to be like, established as you're the other guru of this particular show, right? Or this movie series. That's pretty cool.
It's funny because she showed me one of her messages, and it's like, and someone was already asking me if I was gonna be there, and I'm like, oh, really? I'm the co-host now.
All right, awesome. Is that all you have?
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to recommend something that I kind of mention it on Adrenaline Cinema Podcast every once in a while. We have B5 Events. That's created by our friend Patricia Tallman. You might know her. She played so many characters. She was literally a stunt woman for Gates McFadden in Star Trek Next Generation. She was also the stunt person for Laura Dern in Jurassic Park, the original. Ooh. And she's had several, she was in Babylon 5. She was in a whole bunch of movies. She was in the remake of Night of the Living Dead, and she played one of the lead characters, where they changed the event of the woman being the strong one at the end. And she was that. That was Tom Savini's movie back in the day in 1990. Yeah, you could easily go to b5events.com, and they have a B5 Events store as well. She has, things to check out with other people that she knows, like Claudia Christian, Mira Furlan, a whole bunch of other actors that she's worked with over the year. You could go to patriciatallman.com, Patricia Tallman's Magical Living. Basically, she gives help with live a life of your dreams through online courses. It's kind of like a self-help. So if you're in a downward spiral, can't find yourself way out and feeling depressed, she's a good person to look into, and that community is great for that. So that's the Magical Living for Patricia Tallman at patriciatallman.com. That's still part of B5 Events, and I just want to give that cheap plug for them. And another one be the Grim Life Collective that you could find on YouTube with Emma and Jessica. So Emma and Jessica on the Grim Life, or Emily, I shouldn't say Emma. Well, I'll call her Emma and she'll get mad at me. Emily and Jessica. But yeah, you check them out and give them a little love. The Grim Life Collective YouTube's been around for a long time. They're really great friends of mine. They've been doing this for years. They check out a lot of horror events, movie locations where they film scenes, things of that nature. Check that out. Check them out. Give them some support. Love them just the same as I do. But that's about it for podcast recommendations that I could give here. Right now, we're at that point. Dimitri, where else can listeners hear you or see you?
You can hear and see me on my personal Kaiju YouTube channel, Godzilla Kyru, where I do Kaiju film reviews. I'm procrastinating currently on my Kappa review. I got the script done. I just have no will to actually record it at the moment. And then on this channel, I'm also doing my own show, Kaiju Rambles. And we have an episode by the time that this goes up within a few days on Saturday where we'll be celebrating Gamera the Brave's 20th anniversary. And since I'm becoming more active on my one of my other channels, I'll throw it in here. And that is the Power Rangers vlogs YouTube channel where I talk about Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, all of that.
Mhm.
I'm currently in like a what all should I have on this channel because I've been like experimenting, like doing like a reacting slash reviewing some of the Japanese stuff, but probably won't be doing that too much. I've done like a Valentine's Day special talking about favorite pairings, and one of the recent video I posted on this channel is a sort of what if type thing, and it's like what if in a different universe this happened, and it is what if the Sakura Rangers from Power Rangers in Space were originally created to be good. And for anyone who wants to check it out, the at for it is at DKTPR Vlogs 95. If anyone.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that is about it.
All right, cool. Well, I can be heard here as always on Kaiju Cast Podcast. I can be heard on Panels to Pixels Podcast, the Sandman Cast that can be found on Podcastica. You can also hear me on my other podcast, Adrenaline Cinema Podcast, all action adventure stuff coming our way. Eventually will be the Vampire Lestat show that we're going to be covering with the Vamcast. So we're going to get the group back together. And we'll discuss Vampire Lestat when that comes out on AMC Plus. We'll possibly be doing that with Podcastica as well. So check out the Vamcast when you get a chance. We did interview with the Vampire too with Podcastica. So check out all the previous episodes that could be found on House Podcastica as well as Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. The Pyrocore Entertainment Podcast, as well as the Pyrocore Music Podcast that can be found on the Pyrocore Entertainment Podcast. We only had a few, but I'm looking forward to doing more eventually. It's just a matter of getting people together to formulate and get our thoughts out there to do more music stuff. To find out all the other stuff that I'm part of that is not Podcastica related, all you have to do is go to pyrocoreentertainment.com and then check out all the links there. You'll have Fantasy Picks Movie Edition. You'll have on What's On Tonight podcast, as well as Dinner for Her, as well as all the other links I said for Panels to Pixels podcast, Adrenaline Cinema podcast, Pyrocore Entertainment podcast as well. So just go to pyrocoreentertainment.com. For those of you who want to leave any feedback, and I mentioned it before, for Podcastica, well, you could send a voice message at talk@podcastica.com. If you head to the podcastica.com site, there is a handy voice message link. So check them out on the social media Facebook groups like facebook.com/podcastica, Twitter or X. You could find them at Podcastica, and Instagram at House Podcastica. But if you're at the Podcastica.com website while you're there, if you haven't already, check out all the other podcasts on the Podcastica network, like Run for Your Lives, House Podcastica, Yellow Jackets, WTF, Still Slaying, a Buffyverse podcast, and all the other stuff. they're still doing a rewatch or retake of The Walking Dead with the Walking Dead cast or the Cast of Us podcast. So I don't know what Jason's been labeling it lately, but if you go to House Podcastica, it's going to be a whole mix of everything that's out there that they're doing currently. Or just go to podcastica.com and just check out all the individual podcasts that are in there. Honestly, there's a ton of them in there. So I'm sure there's something that fits your needs. So check that out. For us here at Kaiju Cast, as always, you could always send us direct feedback itself. Literally all you have to do is go to our Facebook group, facebook.com/Kaiju Cast Podcast. You could email us at kaijukastpodcast@gmail.com. That's all straight out Kaiju Cast Podcast. If you're unaware of that, just look at the comments below. Link, just click on it. Everybody has a clicking thing that they could do on their phone as they're listening to stuff. And just like write an email out. Or if you want, you could just record your thoughts, send it as an attachment to the email, and we'll play them. It's very much almost like a voicemail widget. We can be found on Instagram at KaijuCast_podcast. We can be found on YouTube. Just search for Kaiju Cast Podcast. And just please give us a thumbs up and subscribe and ring that bell to get notified. So basically what's on, the YouTube podcast, you could hear it on the actual YouTube itself. And it does get us notified and let us know. There's going to be ratings and reviews found on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Please do so. 5 stars are always welcome. And I highly recommend that you put in comments. We haven't gotten any so far. It'd be greatly appreciated if people could do so, especially our loving friends. It'd be awesome. We like that. So that's about it. Next, we will be covering Monarch Season 2, Episode 9. What's the title of that one, Dimitri?
Ends of the Earth.
Ends of the Earth. Oh my goodness.
The synopsis is Monarch and the team head to Skull Island. Kate tries to resolve with Kentaro and stop Isabel. Char and Keiko search for Billy's long-lost rift.
Oh my goodness. What are we to expect, sir? Do we find that we're going to have somebody like this? Or do we get something else?
You know.
I don't have Titan X's roar, everybody. I'm going to be looking into more sound effects eventually. I also got to get Kong.
Yeah.
Nice clean version of Kong. But I'm looking forward to getting more Titan increase within the episodes too as we head down that ending path. We are destined to get a decent fight at some point, or my kaiju action, as I like to call it. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Dimitri's looking forward to it. We're all looking forward to it here. Let us know your thoughts. We told you how to get in touch with us. But that's about it for this particular podcast. And I just want to thank everybody for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Dimitri.
Don't get stomped on, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.